And yes, a submarine has been launched at the Mazagon dock in Mumbai. It is called Karanj, and this is the third Scorpion class submarine which has been launched at the Mazagon dock by the Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited. Now, Karanj is the third of the 6 Scorpion class submarines being built by MDL under the Project 75 program. The first one, INS Kalvari, was commissioned on the 14th of December last year. The second one was Kandari, and this is the third one is what we're getting to understand. Of course, let's get more details from my colleague Snehesh Philip, who now joins us on the phone line. Snehesh, tell us more about this submarine that has been launched at the Mazagon dock.
Well, this is the third Scorpion class submarine called the Karanj that has been launched. You know, when launch doesn't mean that it has been commissioned. The launch is typically when the submarine goes into the water. Now, for example, the Kalvari was the first submarine that was inducted into the Indian Navy on the 14th of December. But the second Scorpion submarine was also launched in January last year and is currently undergoing sea trials. Now, this submarine would take time before it is finally inducted into the Indian Navy. But as per the Indian Navy's plan, there are 6 Scorpion submarines that have been built. You know, the eventual plan is to have one new submarine inducted every 9 months. And that is a plan that the Indian Navy is working on.
Right. Snehesh, thank you so much for joining us with these details. And yes, these are visuals that we are showing you of the third Scorpion class submarine Karanj that has been launched at the Mazagon dock. The Scorpion submarines are a primary modernization requirement of the Indian Navy, and it is currently faced with an aging submarine fleet. This is the third submarine that has been launched. Of course, the first one was INS Kalvari, is what Snehesh just told us. And that was commissioned on the 14th of December last year. The second one was Kandari, that has already been launched and is undergoing sea trials. Now, as Snehesh clarified for us, that the launch does not mean that it has gone into the sea. It just means that they're testing it right now, and after which it will be launched for sea trials.
Good morning, India. You're watching Republic TV. Republic Rise at the top of Republic Rise at 9 this morning. Let's go back to the top story, the Scorpion launch from Mazagon dock. And Snehesh, our deputy editor, is going to join us live. Let's take you through these visuals that we are breaking right now. This is the third Scorpion class submarine, Karanj, which is launched at the Mazagon dock Shipbuilders Limited, or MDL, in Mumbai. Now, Karanj is the third of the 6 Scorpion class submarines being built by MDL INS Kalvari, and under this project 75, the first one, INS Kalvari, was commissioned on December 14th last year. The second one, that is Kandari, has already been launched and is undergoing sea trials. The Scorpion submarines are a primary modernization requirement of the Indian Navy, which is currently faced with an aging submarine fleet, and that too when the Chinese Navy has a growing presence in the Indian Ocean. So that is India's counter to that. The third Scorpion class submarine, Karanj, which is being launched at the Mazagon Dock Shipbuilders Limited in Mumbai. As we speak, we are beaming these visuals live on your screen. Snehesh Phillips, deputy editor, joins us live for more on this story. Snehesh, as we beam these visuals from Mazagon dock, take our viewers to the significance of this.
Well, this is the launch of the third submarine, Scorpion class submarine that has been done today here in Mumbai. Remember, the first, the Kalvari, was inducted into the Indian Navy on December 14th by none other than the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. This is part of India's endeavour to actually
context of the maritime warfare that one talks about. Submarines are a deadly weapon. They are known as the sharks of the sea. because they operate under the water and are able to not only launch an attack, but are also able to gather intel and, on a...
Go ahead, Snehesh.
Yes, so as I
Yes. So as I was mentioning, the submarines become a greater asset, especially in the context of what is happening in the around the Indian waters right now. Because you would have seen over the last few years, Chinese have made increasing forays into the Indian Ocean, and to challenge them, the submarines are important. So India is working on a different set of submarines. For example, these are the Scorpion submarines. These are the traditional conventional submarines, which are the diesel-run submarines. India has also inducted its first nuclear-powered and nuclear attack-capable Aryan submarines, and India is building on 6 more nuclear-powered submarines. There's also a P-75 India project that is supposed to come up, in which 6 more conventional submarines with air-independent propulsion system will also be launched, which means, and these are all made in India projects. This current Scorpion submarines has been built along with the French group, the naval group, earlier known as DCNS.
Okay,
But a major
we have
portion
Mr.
of the
D.K. Sharma, spokesperson of the Indian Navy. In fact, joining us on phone lines, Snehesh, I request you to be there and also question Mr. Sharma. Many thanks for talking to Republic TV. Take us through the pivotal significance of the Scorpion launch, especially this being seen as India's counter to Chinese Navy's growing presence in the Indian Ocean.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Sharma, many thanks for talking to Republic TV. We are beaming live visuals from Mazagon dock, sir. If you could take us through the significance of the 3rd Scorpion class submarine launch. How important and significant is this?
Yeah, this is the 3rd of the class. We have started this project 75, which is comprising 6 boats, out of which the first boat, INS Kalvari, was dedicated and commissioned to the nation by the Honorable Prime Minister last month, that is on the 14th December. The second boat was also launched last year and is in the advanced state of trials, including the deep dive trials. And this is the 3rd boat. As promised by the MDL, the boats are coming out at the interval as decided. And now today you witness the 3rd boat. And now she will be launched. Already she has been named by Mrs. Lamba. And all the religious ceremonies are over now. Now we are preparing for her to be launched, and she goes into water for the very first time. And the 4th and the 5th boat also, we have been told, and we are in the yard, that the boats have been booted up. And this year we will see these boats getting in one shape.
Captain Sharma, having said that, do you think it's going to be a big way forward in terms of fulfilling modernization requirements of the Indian Navy?
Of course, we are running short on submarines, and this is one of the very positive steps. And let me tell you that submarines are not built overnight, and it is not a 9-to-5 job. So it's a very complicated task which we are doing, and NDL has been, coming up. Though of course there have been little delays, but all that has been overcome. That is behind us.
Sir, can you tell our viewers more about this Project 75 program?
You see, this is now we are also looking in for Project 75 India, which is already with the Ministry of Defence. And this project, which comprises 6 boats, was started as per the 30-year submarine building program of Indian Navy, and we are following it up.
All right, I really appreciate those comments. Captain D.K. Sharma, Indian Navy spokesperson, talking exclusively to Republic TV on this 3rd Scorpion class submarine Karanj, which is being launched as we speak at Mazagon dock. Our deputy editor, Snehesh, continues to stay with us on this big story. Yes, Snehesh, it's over to you. Tell us a little bit more about the significance, a big way forward when it comes to the modernization requirements. How important, how special is this particular event, this particular program rather, for the Indian Navy, for our forces?
The highly important for the Indian naval capability, as the Navy spokesman Captain D.K. Sharma clearly said that we are indeed short of submarines, and that is why earlier in 2000 is when a 30-year submarine plan was launched. Under this plan, we were supposed to have 24 new submarines by 2030, but the fact is that we've been really slow and we've not yet reached the numbers. So there are multiple projects that are going on simultaneously. The Scorpion class submarines are the traditional conventional submarines, which means these are diesel powered submarines. The Scorpion class can be comparable to any of the class currently in the world, including the Kilo class, which is one of the quietest submarines that India has and is known as the quietest submarine in the world. At the same time, as Captain D.K. Sharma said, another project that everybody is eyeing for is the P-75 India project, under which 6 new conventional submarines are also to be built. But these will come with air-independent propulsion system, the AIP system, which will enable these submarines to stay underwater for a much longer time than the traditional submarines without the AIP technology. At the same time, in 2016 is when we inducted India's first indigenously developed nuclear-powered capable submarine, the Arihant. Work is on to build, work is already on the second nuclear attack capable submarine. So in total, the eventual plan is of the Navy is to have about 24 submarines in its arsenal. Remember, the current submarines that we use are those submarines which have been procured in the 70s and the 80s. They have a specific lifeline that is there, and it is soon running out. And hence, it is very important for India to have new state-of-the-art submarines.
Snehesh, having said that, just to put this in perspective, how crucial is this in terms of adding more strength, empowering and making our naval fleet more robust? Because that is very important for every Indian to know, isn't it, Snehesh, as we beam those visuals live from Mazagon dock?
Well, submarines are an important element in India's arsenal. When it comes to the naval diplomacy, when it comes to defense diplomacy, Navy has been at the forefront because of the kind of work that it does. Navy, we have a huge shoreline that is there. We have the huge Indian waters around us, the Indian Ocean there, the large number of commercial interests are out there, and hence the Navy has been deployed over a period of time at various locations in the Indian Ocean. It not only keeps an eye on the enemy, but also ensures that the freedom of navigation is there, that all our commercial interests are taken care of. And hence, submarines form a critical part of it. And in China over the past few years have made increasing submarine forays into the Indian Ocean. Why do they do that? Because submarines are supposed to be the silent sharks in the water. And they come in, they observe and take intel on Indian positions and Indian assets. And hence, to counter the Chinese submarines, what is needed are more naval assets. And submarines form a crucial part of the naval arsenal.
Karanj is a third of the 6 Scorpion-class submarines which is being built by MDL. Snehesh, let's also do a bit of a recap as far as the other 2 which were launched earlier are considered, Snehesh. I'm referring to the first one being INS Kalvari as well, the second being Khandari.
Yes, INS Kalvari is something that was it was the first of the Scorpion-class submarines which was inducted into the Indian Navy on 14th of December by none other than Prime Minister Narendra Modi itself. The second Scorpion-class submarine was launched in January last year and is now undergoing final sea trials. Now, this is the third submarine which has been launched today. What essentially means by launch is not an induction. Launch means that the submarine from the dry dock gets into the water for the first time. Now, this submarine will undergo further fittings and eventually will go for sea trials. Now, the plan is to have 6 Scorpion submarines in total. What we've been told is that the rest of the, at least 2 of the remaining 3 Scorpion submarines would be launched this year itself. The eventual plan of the Navy is to induct 1 Scorpion submarine every 9 months.
Okay.
And at the same time, the work is currently on the P-75 India project too. The file is currently with the Defense Ministry. It's been about 2 years that that the Navy is waiting for this project to take off. But only time will tell when actually this project will take off, because currently the file is with the Defence Ministry and a formal decision is yet to be taken on this.
And also its significance in terms of countering the bigger challenge confronting Navy fleet. Remember earlier we were talking about the aging fleet is something which is a matter of great concern. So this is a counter for that, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Aging fleet of the Indian Navy is a matter of great concern. Remember that this P-75 project, under which 6 corps was part of the 30-year project started in 2000. Under this project, by 2030, we were supposed to have 24 new submarines. But imagine, currently we have only 2 new submarines that have been inducted as part of this vision of 2030. So while, yes, 5 more Scorpion submarines are constructed, we also have the nuclear attack, nuclear power capable submarines that are being constructed at a shipyard in Andhra Pradesh. The fact remains that we are a bit slow as far as submarines is concerned. You know, the submarines that we currently use, we use about 13 submarines that we have, but these are submarines that are nearing the age of its final run. So hence it is very important to replace them with modern submarines, and that is something that the Navy is working on and the MOD is working on.
All right. Many thanks, Nehesh, for putting this big submarine launch in a larger perspective and for very, very important leads. A short breather here on Republic TV. When we'll come back, we'll get you the latest that we are picking from Karanj. Remember, it continues to remain tense on the other side. Stay tuned.